Welcome to Tales on the Towpath, the podcast where every mile tells a story.
We're two runners who spend a lot of time out here on the C&O Canal towpath, talking about training, racing, and everything that happens between the miles.
From early morning runs to the stories that keep us moving.
This is where endurance meets inspiration, one step, one tail at a time.
So lace up and join us on the path, because every trail has a story, and this one's ours.
Welcome back to episode 17, everyone. I'm Adam Lowe.
And I'm Chris Earl. And tonight we have very special and returning guest, Katie Lowe.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back as usual. So we all know that you guys were third place in your January Outrun Us challenge, but I've heard that there's a new February challenge and both of you guys have completed it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I think, Chris, before we get started on that, we might have to change the intro a little bit to special host Katie Lowe instead of special guest.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, we'll have to think about
I'll
that.
take the title.
There's no pay raise involved in the title difference. So if you still want the title, you can, but there's no pay raise involved, Katie. What do you think?
I'm going to have to get my representatives involved, but I think I can still manage it.
So back to the challenge. So yeah, the Outrun Us ladies are doing a February challenge. That's Taylor, or Tay Rock as she likes to be called, and Katia. So their February challenge is kind of like a backyard ultra. So 4 miles every hour on the hour for 12 hours. So, when January 31st ended, I was really happy that that challenge was over, and I told Chris I'm not doing the February challenge. And then they came out with this February challenge, and it fit in perfectly with some of my goals for March. So I decided I would do it. I did my first round. I think there's probably only going to be one, but I did it on February, oh my goodness, 12th, Thursday. We had a pub run at Antietam Brewery at 5 p.m. So I started my first run at 6 a.m. and then that would make my 12th hour line up with the pub run. So I invited a ton of people to come run with me, and I knew that if none of them would come run, then I would automatically have 15 to 20 people that would come run at the pub run with me. So I kind of planned it out that way on purpose to make sure I had some people there for the last one. But Chris came out for my first yard at 6 a.m. And then I ran 7 o'clock by myself. And then I had Brian Derborough there for the rest of the day, who ran, I think, 30 total miles with me. Matt Hardy came out and ran 12 miles. Carissa came out and ran 4. Am I forgetting anybody? Yes, Steve Brooks came out, and I know I'm forgetting one more person that came out at 4 o'clock. And then 5 o'clock, there were like 25 people that came out there. So I had a lot of support throughout the whole day, but it was a lot of fun. It was cold. It was like 13, 14 degrees all day long. So I would run probably a little faster than I needed to, about 39 to 40 minutes per yard. And then I would jump back in the car and get heated up and then go back out there. But I was able to stay on top of the nutrition pretty well. I drank a lot of Tailwind. I had a foot long turkey sub, some Oreos, what else? A couple Uncrustables, and yeah, I mean it was good. It was a good test. I walked all the hills, well, 90% of them. Sometimes I forgot. And then I ran pretty easy. So it was a pretty good test run for me to find out, where I could be in at the end of March here. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Got done the 50 miles and completed the challenge. So it was pretty good. How about you, Chris? What was your challenge experience like?
Yeah, mine was pretty similar. Did my challenge on Saturday, February 14th. And because it was Valentine's Day, I decided to start mine a little bit earlier than you did. I got up and did my first yard at 4 a.m., which was interesting. one of the reasons I had picked Saturday was everybody was talking about how nice the weather was going to be. It was going to be 50 degrees. It's going to be so nice and sunny. And I got up at 4 a.m. and it was 22 degrees and I was freezing. But I just bundled up just like I would on a normal run, went out and nugged out my first 4.2 miles and turned around and did it again at 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. And at 7 o'clock, when the sun was finally up, I opened my front door to go back out, and lo and behold, there was my buddy Matt Hardy. He was sitting in my driveway waiting for me to come out, and I had no idea it was coming. So that was a really nice surprise, and he joined me for the next 3 yards. I was routinely hitting them a little bit slower than you. I was probably in that 42 to 46 minute range, depending on how disciplined I was with walking the hills. It was funny when Matt showed up, I really struggled with the going slower part because, as most people who know me know, I'm an extrovert runner, and when I've got somebody to run with and share some stories, the miles just click off a lot easier. So they were a little bit quicker, but we eventually settled in, and I was real glad to have him there for those 3 yards. I did the 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock hour by myself, and then you and Ryan came over, and our boy Luke showed up at 10:59 and 45 seconds. I think he literally parked his car in the snowbank, jumped out and ran across and was like, "Hey, let me get my watch started." And we were off. So it was real good to have you all run a few legs with me. And then the last 2 yards I did by myself, but that was probably good because I was real intentional about slowing down on those, got my time closer to 48 to 50 minutes, a lot more walking just to practice it, right? It wasn't because I was tired or my legs were that sore. It was more just I really wanted to experience the walking and the slowing down intentionally so that when I do the last one standing in May, it'll be a little more natural for me.
Yeah, that was a challenge for me, the walking part. I normally am not a big walker, so even when I had like a group of people with me and I was like, okay, we gotta walk, as soon as we started walking, I was instantly like 4 or 5 feet behind them. And I was like, oh, yeah, I have to walk fast because we're still like moving, but not like we're not at Walmart shopping, So I had to like, remember to keep moving quickly, but take that break as well. Before we go any further, Katie reminded me that I need to give Luke a shout out because Luke ran 3 yards with me as well. He was the person that I just forgot. So I don't know how I can forget Luke, but he came and ran 10, 11, and then 12 with me.
Yeah, one more thing I was going to add is it was mentally it was a little challenging for me because, I typically on an easy run, I'm a high 8, low 9 minute mile runner. And when I would look down at my watch and see it say 10 or 10:30 minutes per mile, even though that's what I needed to do, mentally I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like I was like, "Oh, you got to pick it up. You're running too slow." But no, I'm not. I should probably walk right now. But, that was it was good to practice because that's what we're going to have to do in the backyard.
So, for this challenge, were you allowed to do any treadmill running or did it have to be outside?
Yeah, so the challenge you could do anywhere you wanted. It could have all been on the treadmill, it could have been on a track, it could have been on an indoor track outside, whatever. And you did not even have to do the same course. So you just had to start over on the hour. So you could have ran 4.2 miles away from your house and then stood around on the corner for a little bit and then started running again when you were ready. So a little bit different than like an actual backyard race would be, but still the same kind of concept.
Okay, and Adam, you mentioned something about doing this challenge once and you weren't sure if you were going to do it again. Are you talking about doing it again during this month? Is there an advantage in the challenge to doing it a second time? I haven't heard anything about this.
Did I mention that Luke came and ran yards 10, 11, and 12 with me? That was so much fun. So, but anyway, Chris, I think we should do a full episode on this topic for Last One Standing. So we can talk about my upcoming backyard and then your upcoming backyard. Does that sound like a good idea?
That sounds like a great plan and nice deflection.
Chris took the words out of my mouth.
All right. Well, so that's maybe a little insight into what the episode will be in about a month. But for tonight, for the rest of tonight, we have two very special guests with us, two local runners to the Martinsburg, West Virginia area for our third episode in the series of February running couples.
Hey everyone, before we get into this episode's interview with Bruce and Adrienne, it was bound to happen eventually. The technical gremlins attacked, and despite days of trying to recover the file, we lost the audio for the first few minutes of our conversation. So I want to apologize to both Bruce and Adrienne and to you for this gaffe. We will try and have them back on the pod soon so you can hear how their running journey began and how the Latin Snake and Flippin' Contender went from barely running to ultra marathoners. I hope you'll stick with us for the second half of the conversation. It was a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. Katie, to answer your question, I have not decided if I'm going to go back to Kickhaven. It's in the back of my mind, but I guess I'm waiting to see what else comes up this summer. But right now, I don't have any races scheduled for that time of year.
Yeah, I was gonna say to Bruce that the 12-hour challenge, it's crazy because 12 hours sounds like a long time, but once you're out there, you're really just thinking of it 5 miles at a
Mhm.
time. And you go out and you have your goal, but you're thinking, okay, I just gotta get okay. When I get to 25, oh, my goal's 30. I only have one more loop to do. But then you finish that one and you might have all this time left and think, well, I could really push myself and do something more. So it's just crazy to me how those looped courses on those hourly challenges can sometimes seem to go a lot faster than what they are because you're just thinking of it one loop at a time and it really clicks off one by one if you just stay focused on the one you're in.
It's so true. Until you kick a rock, and then you kick that rock the next time, and then you kick that rock the next time, and you're like, I hate this course. But eventually you should learn, but I sure didn't.
I think one thing I truly appreciated about that race is it was just a mental get me to JFK to run 50 miles in a certain amount of time. And I'm like, well, let me just see what I can do. This is like my practice run type deal. If I can be on my feet for that long. And I know it's going to be his turn this year. That's his birthday present is I'm buying him a race registration. And so he's going to try the 12-hour challenge first just to get you mentally prepared for that.
Yep. And I mean, we did come up
Oh yeah,
we did come
definitely.
up last year, the kids and I, to kind of support her at the very end of it. We made it just in time for the big torrential downpour. So the kids
Oh
got to
yeah.
kind of get out and play a little bit, and then it's like, oh my goodness, it's coming down like crazy. And then abort mission, let's get out of here. But I know you guys were still in it for a little bit of that. But it looked like a good time and a great group of people. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good experience.
Yeah, I have two big takeaways from that race. Number one, don't put bug spray on your face or you will eat it whenever you sweat. And number two, don't take caffeine gels after a certain time or you're going to be up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Why can't I sleep?
Yeah.
And I definitely highly, highly suggest the pizza.
Okay.
The pizza was amazing, life-saving in the middle of that race.
Nice. I do love pizza. So I think we'll be good there.
So, Adrian, how long did your 35 hours take you? Like, how long were you on the course
I
for?
want to say,
He means 35
I think it was
miles.
like
What did I say?
35 hours.
Oh, I definitely meant 35 miles. Go ahead.
I think it was about 11, 14, something around there. I haven't looked it up. When I'm done, I'm done. I'm on to the next one type
Yeah.
deal. But I think it was right
Right,
about
right.
there. I knew I was on my last loop because I set my watch to beep every 5 miles. So I basically could figure out how long is each loop taking me. That last loop, there was nobody there. And every time I saw somebody, oh, a human. And I even said that to you, Adam. You popped up. I'm like, a human. They do exist because you're just out there by yourself so long. And then they just came to that one downhill portion. I'm like, see ya. Which is kind of funny. That's what Declan says every time he gets to a downhill. And I just came flying to the end, but I knew there was not enough time to get in another one. I wish I would have known that I could have went out for one of the little ones and back, but I thought in my head I should have asked, since it said run here to get a marathon, run here to get a 50K, run here to get a 100K. And since my math wasn't any of those, I just was like, okay, I'm done. But it was perfect timing because literally sat down 2 minutes later.
Opened up. Yep.
I think Katie and Crystal were still
Yeah.
out there
Yeah.
getting showers.
Yeah, it got wild. It got wild out there for a minute. Adrienne, it sounds like you were much smarter with your watch that day than I was. I don't remember if I've told this story on the podcast before, but that day I went to put my watch in trail run and apparently I hit track run
Oh, goodness.
instead.
Oh,
And so my watch was in meters the whole day.
oh wow.
Goodness.
I can't even.
So by the time I finished, it was like 40-some thousand meters that I had
Oh
run.
my
Something
goodness.
like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to cope with that.
Chris, at what point during that race would you have stopped and like restarted a new run logically to put it like on something that you could understand? Like, I think if I looked down and saw like 1,006 meters, I'd be like, man, we just started. This isn't what I need. And I would restart it right then. Kate, that's how stubborn, for everybody that's listening. That's how stubborn Katie is. She was locked into that for 12 hours.
Man, hats off to you.
Well, the only thing is you kinda know, like, 800 is half a mile, 1,600 is
Oh,
right around a
see, it's that
mile,
track
like,
training.
you could cut
That helps you.
You're a math
Yeah,
teacher too,
exactly.
so you can
Yeah.
do conversion on the run.
Oh, I was in yes, it was math teacher overdrive trying to, like, convert all those meters to what mile I'm in. I gave up most of the time, but
Yeah, Adam, I probably would have kept it going because, I've had so much trouble with my watch during last one standing
Mm.
events where I accidentally stop it and then I've got 4 runs to piece together and I don't get my big total for the day. I
yes,
probably would have been annoyed by that.
exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I think I would have been losing it somewhere with 20,000 meters. I would have been like, all right, we got to go to miles or something.
I just clicked on Strava, and when it uploads to Strava, it goes to miles. So it says 40.43 miles. But when I finished that day, I know for a fact it said like thousands amount of meters. And I was like, well, I know how many meters I went today. I'm not sure about the mileage on the watch. But anyway, go ahead. Less about me, more about you guys.
Bruce, when you did last one standing last year, did you stop your watch every time or did you let it run throughout the 30 plus hours you were out
That was
there?
a big thing for me. I should have done a little bit of research, which I did not. The only thing I kind of looked at was what are the best ways to save battery. So I ran it as one long workout that I paused when I wasn't on the course. So the plus was it kind of just took the whole thing and compressed it into one workout. The negative is my PR for a 50K has me down for like 11 hours or something ridiculous for basically however long I was out there. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's something crazy. The battery held up though, so that was nice. And oh, I guess the other downside is if I had a run streak that I was working on at the time, it only counted for one of the 2 days. So that would have, that probably wouldn't have been great if I didn't know that and, was trying to cultivate that at the time. So, yeah.
Your run streak doesn't need to be on Strava. So as
Mm.
long as you ran a mile in the calendar day,
Mm.
it would still count. It's your streak. You can still count it.
There's my 50K PR, 21 hours, 48 minutes. So that's pretty spectacular. I like it. I'll take it.
I think there's something to that though, and I think Chris will agree to me. Like when you do a race like the 50K though, it's good if you tank your first one with 21 hours, then you have something really, really easily to beat next time, right?
Okay, so I'm going to echo what Adam was saying about a slow first 50K PR time. When you run your next 50K, you're going to have like an 11 to 15 hour PR. And there are not many people who can say that they took 15 hours off their PR in a 50K. So that's going to be pretty amazing.
That's definitely gonna be a flex that I'll be proud of. Everybody will hear about it, you know, I'll spread it far and wide, but, I mean, honestly, my first marathon was, quite a long time. It was more of a I don't know. It truly a marathon time-wise. So my second one, I took a pretty good chunk off of it, the third one again. But I know you get to a point, the faster and faster you get, man, seconds are, precious. But when you start out with a slow one, you got a lot of improvement you can make pretty easily.
Well, we are February, what's today? Help me out. 17th,
17.
2026. I'm going to take you all the way back to November 3rd, 2024, like a year and a half ago. Okay. Fire on the Mountain. You guys ran looking at the results 4 hours, 41 minutes, and 16 seconds. And Bruce, you were only 3 seconds behind her. So I can only assume that you two ran together on the day. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that day and running together on that course and just being with each other and supporting each other, and maybe any crazy or cool stories that came up along the way, or how much the Latino snake irritated you, Adrian, or whatever.
Latin snake.
Oh, the Latin snake. I was so close.
That day was actually, I think, the only race we actually ran together from beginning to end. Since having kids, we rarely get to actually do races together. And we just finished the MCM right beforehand. That was his first marathon, the year where it was 8 million degrees outside at the end of October. And then just the next week, we decided to do Fire on the Mountain. Now, I did send him out for some practice runs ahead of time whenever you held them. And then I took off, or we took off work together, like before the race, so he can then show me what he learned. So you get into that.
Yeah. When I know it was offered up, it was like, hey, we're gonna do a practice run, kind of show you the course. And I don't know what I expected. And to be honest with you, if I would have showed up and somebody would have had a Segway and there would be like a guided tour with Captain Adam pointing, here's the red trail and this is where we make a right. Somehow in my brain, that's what I was thinking about. And instead it was yourself. It was just all y'all hitting it hard. And within 30 seconds, I couldn't see anybody. Within a minute, I couldn't hear anybody. And I'm like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing for the next 13 hours until I find my way back to civilization. But it was great. It was a really good way to kind of get out there, get the lay of the land. And I only got lost twice, but not too far. I got turned around. I found my way back. I think at one point you put down a glove or something to like indicate what direction we were supposed to go. But it was an experience. And then I got home and I'm like, this is going to be my first DNF. I'm going to call it. I'm going to get hurt. I think I rolled my ankle like 6 times. I'm like, this is not going to be a good one for me. But anyway, it worked out good. But it was like she said, it was the first one that we kind of did together. She had to come back for me a little bit because I kind of slowed my roll at the end a bit.
Before we get into the actual race itself, whenever we went out together then to run, it was still a little chilly out, but I wore shorts anyway. So he's taking me along. Here's where we went. We're going at his pace, which was walking. And I was kind enough to let him talk for about a quarter of a mile. And I said, either we're going to run or we're going to turn around and go get me some pants. So what are we doing out here? The kids are at school, so whenever we take off work to go run, we set a timer because we know we have to be at the bus stop at a certain time. I'm like, I didn't drive all the way out here to freeze my butt off and walk. But we got a pretty good ways in the training, and then the actual day of. When we run, this man uphill is a monster. He is so fast uphill, and I'm the downhill person.
Right. Yep.
We have a nickname for each other. We're Bird and Bear. And so whenever we're in the woods and he's going super fast, I have a rule that if you're too much ahead of me, I'm going to let you know, hey, you're ahead of me. So I'm like, what do? I can't go, hey, Bear, in the middle of the trail.
Not good.
It's just like screaming shark at the ocean. So I have to kind of get him to slow down. But then the day of the race, it was opposite, complete opposite. He never ever lets me know whenever he's fallen behind. And I'm like, please let me know whenever you're behind me and it's too much of a gap. I will stop. No, he doesn't let me know. I go running through and then I pop out onto a fire road and I'm like, come on, where are you at, buddy? And then I'm like screaming into the woods, what's your name? It's not Bear, it's Bruce, Bruce. It's your name. Who do I call you? Where are you? And I'm waiting for him. And there was the one part at the very last incline before getting to the final fire road where we practiced that part and he was up it way faster than me during the practice run. And then he was at the bottom of it by the time I was at the top. He's like, how'd you get up there so fast? But it was definitely an adventure. And I'm like, do I wait for you or do I go? And he's like, just go, just go. And in my heart, I just walked. I walked and I saw him running towards me. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. We finished together and just before, I think, the cutoff for the 25
think
day.
so. Yeah, that was the magic year where apparently you were not allowed to put wood in the fire, so we missed that part of the experience. I think because of the drought or something.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the drought year. Yeah, 2024. They wouldn't even deliver wood to me, like so we could act like we were throwing it on the fire. Because if we did light it, we would get in trouble. So the guy didn't
Um,
want that responsibility. But
We got our high five and our hug, so
Yep.
we'll take it.
that's right.
Yep.
Well, if you guys find my glove out in the woods, bring it back to me.
We did find Mike Martin's phone that one time on one of the practice runs.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
wow.
we
Man.
did. Yep. So when you guys were out there together, and obviously there's like some push and pull about like you guys said, Bruce is usually faster on the uphills and Adrian, you're crushing the downhills. I mean, that's got to be a lot of fun for you. It's got to be encouraging just to have somebody, with you the entire time. How's the dynamic? Like who talks more when you guys are running or who just wants to run or how do you guys know when somebody's in like a tough headspace? Because that course is not easy and you'll definitely go through some tough patches there.
He always says he has to have music. And whenever I say we're going without music, he's like, well, you have to talk to me then because I can't go in silence. But you know who talks more? Him.
Yeah, I get going.
It's him.
Once I get going, man, it's hard to shut me up. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear either of you say anything about one of you crying or anything. So that's very different than mine and Adam's experiences running races together.
I do not get emotional at races, except last man standing. I did
Oh
cry
boy.
for him, and that is the only time I did because he wanted to quit. And
Yeah.
I said, you are not allowed to quit until they have to pull you off the course
Yeah.
because it's just an hour. And if you don't make it back in time, then that's when you quit. But you don't get to self quit. I ain't allowing it.
Yeah.
He's like,
That was
but he kept going. He
that was
kept going.
that was such a great event, like from an emotional standpoint. I mean, Adam, you and your boy out there, and you kind of handing off a little guidance to the next generation, watching Samir just roll. I mean, the man looked fresh every hour on the hour. He was like, let's go, let's go. He had no quit in him. And I'm like, I'm here for you, man. This is so much fun to watch. But yeah, after a certain point, once it was daytime, I had done my 24 hours. I was ready to hang it up. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm good to walk out. And she's like, no, you are not. Finish what you start. So
That's what I did to you at
yeah.
your Lock to Lock marathon as well.
Yeah.
We went to go meet you. We went down. When I say we, me and the children went down a good mile in, and then you saw it. You're like, "Oh, hey guys, what's up?" Treating it like it's an easy long run. He starts walking. I go, "This is race day, okay? There is no walking when you are this close to the finish line. So you get to running."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yes,
Well,
ma'am."
Yeah.
I'm gonna let I'm gonna let Chris take over here in a second, but I just have to get in one of these Adam comments real quick. So, Adrian, I know you said you wore shorts to that Fire on the Mountain training run, but it sounds like you wear the pants when it comes to telling Bruce how to act on race day. That's for sure.
Hey, it's been getting him where he wants to be. But
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah,
I'm the alpha.
I, I,
Yeah.
but I love that support though. That's awesome. That's something that everybody needs, and you've obviously found like the right buttons of his to push because he didn't just go back in the tent at last one standing. He kept going. He didn't just stop at with 1 mile to go at lock to lock. You said what you needed to say, and then he picked it up and kept going. So that's really cool that you found that way to support him.
And neither one of you cried. So
No.
Hey, so I wanna talk about another dimension that you all have hinted about a little bit, but I think our listeners would be really interested in. I You guys have the dynamic of either running together or crewing for one another, but you've also got this extra layer in that your children have started racing with you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and maybe the winter racing series that you all have been doing these last few weeks?
Well, I do have to say one thing that we went on a running hiatus kind of over COVID and after we got married for a little bit, and then we jumped back on board whenever we got a iFit enabled treadmill. And so that got us going again. And the kids were, I want to try.
Hmm.
3 and 5 years old. Okay, pressing all the buttons, and then they're on it. Both of them running. Declan has a binky in his mouth.
Yep.
He's running on that thing, and I'm like, "You go, boy." And so I think that alone, because of the entertainment and how it does it for you, it made it exciting. And so then we started going to races, and it's important to me that as a family, we go to others' events and support each other in whatever we wanna do. So we'll go to our son's games, our daughter's comps, and then they come to our races. It's important that they see us do hard things so they can do hard things. And then we're always working together when you do hard things, you just become better, ultimately. So the kids' first race was actually Harper's Ferry 5K in 2023. Declan was 4 years old. And there's even a picture that they have of us. I remember we were running towards the
Yeah.
end in the field, and I'm like, "Oh, there's a cameraman," because I was hyping him up. Bruce was running the half, so we wanted to see him finish. And I'm like, "Heck, let's do the 5K as a family." So I'm like, "Let's hold hands and cheer and act like we're having a good time." And then whenever they saw that picture, Declan goes, "I look so sweaty." Whenever he says that. But I told them, I'm like, "Hey, if we get this done in an hour, I will clean up your playroom for you." And then they did. They did. We just constantly bribe them to do stuff. But now they're like, "I want to do this race." We do this race, we're working for that race. We're training for that race to the point now where we actually have daily exercises for them that we all do. It takes no more than 5 minutes. And then I have weekly goals that we need to accomplish that don't take much time either. They have to do these daily exercises to get their screen time. So it's kind of fun in a
Yeah.
way. And then we got into the winter series. We started that last year, and this is our second year. It's 8 races over the winter months when there's not much going on anyway. They start later in the morning, so it's nice. A lot of the people from Bros and Bras are there, so we have a lot of friends and family, or not family, friendly faces, familiar faces. That's what I said.
Mhm.
Family.
Yep.
Familiar faces that we know, but it's 8 races for 4 people, $120.
Yeah.
And you can't really beat that.
And if you sign up for the whole thing, they basically give you a shoe tag that you can kind of weave in and out of your shoelaces. So I basically have a pair of Winter Series shoes that I only wear for those because I have the thing already attached. So then that way, when you go to race 3 or race 6, you don't have to show up extra early and get a bib and worry about all that. All that part's done for you. You just wake up, get the kids up, eat something, and then off you go. So and it's nice to see everybody, and it's kind of a family friendly deal. There's a lot of other kids that are in their age brackets. So after each race, it's kind of fun to pull everything up and see, wow, Declan, you're eighth and you're, under 10, or Kaylee, you're seventh under 10 for the ladies. So it's pretty fun.
Last year they did very well. But this year, there's 200 more racers than the prior year. And there are a lot of kids there, a lot, to where we felt comfortable at one of the races. We let the kids run it by themselves. And they still did great. And I looked at the standings today, and Declan is in 8th place, and everyone's older than him, above him. And Kaylee's in 4th place. So we have 2 more races to go. We'll see how it goes, but we run that for the kids. It's fun to see them be challenged. And we always alternate who runs with them each race and see who motivates them more. I love to ask them, who do you like to run with better? It's never me. But who gets them their PRs?
That's mom.
That's me.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I'm either going to have to lend you my kids for a while, or you're going to have to write a book or something, because I need some of these tricks. Because my kids do not sound like yours. I think you told me they're signed up for the last one standing challenge this year. Is that correct?
Yep. All 4 of us are going to be in it this year, and he's going to take one for the team and do the 1 hour one or the 1 mile with the children, and we're going to have a hard time.
Yeah. Send help.
Just gonna put that right
Send help.
away.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we're getting mentally prepared for it.
Mhm.
My birthday's coming up in April, and I turned 42 on a Sunday, and I want to do 42 kilometers. So all the races were far away. So I'm like, we're going to do a last man standing overnight challenge that night. And I'm going to get my 42 kilometers.
Katie can help with the conversion.
Yeah, there we
of that
go.
one. So she can help figure that
I'm
out.
gonna
don't put me on the spot, but I'll do the
Yeah.
research.
We're going to make our kids practice that overnight one as well. So we're going to be
Yeah,
prepared.
that's awesome. Well, speaking of races in 2026, what do you guys have coming up that are your big goals for this year, if you're comfortable talking about that?
Well, for me, it's JFK. I'm trying to do 50 before 50. So I'm going to try to knock out 50 miles before I turn 50, which will be next year, 2027. So, I mean, Cape hopefully is going to help with that. A longer race, longer distance. And I'm going to try to follow in my wife's footsteps as far as her training plan from last year. I mean, we still have most of that information. So I'm just going to try to emulate that as much as I can, because I think she had an excellent result based on her training. So I'm going to try to pick up as many tips as I can from that, try to follow that plan, and hopefully get a similar result. How about you?
It's really awesome.
I always make myself like 3 goals a year. One of them I do for strength training, just in case I start to get bogged up or get too focused on running and I don't enjoy it as much. I have another one to default to, because I really like strength training. I really do enjoy that one. So, but for running wise, I want to PR a marathon, which I haven't raced a marathon in 2 years. So first attempt's next month. Man, I hope I get it, because marathon training is the worst. It really is. So I hope I get it then, so I can just cross that one off.
Which marathon are you running?
I'm running St. Patrick's Marathon in DC, held by Bishop's Events. It's basically a lock to lock in Georgetown, because it's on the
Right.
C&O Canal twice.
It should be-
But it's
Yep.
winter. So that
Yeah.
was key too. Just gotta hope it's not as muddy. Maybe hopefully it dries up
Yeah,
between now and then.
we'll see.
And then another challenge for myself, which I think is going to be a little bit more strategic, is I want to come home with a hardware for age placement. And I know at my PR that I did for my 5K, I was 3rd place, but they only gave awards to 1st place. I was 48 seconds away. I was 4th place at Lock to Lock, not even trying. Well, I was trying for a PR and I got it, but I was 48 seconds away from getting 3rd place in my age group. I got 1st place in my age group for my first ultra, but they only gave it to masters. So I'm like, man, I'm actually a flippin' contender. And I never ever would I've ever thought that. And the best thing about that lady who did get the masters at my ultra, I finished before her at JFK. I turned around, I'm like, I know you. And I beat you. So So, but that's my goal this year. It's going to be completely strategic because have you met Katie? Have you met Carissa? They're my age groups. Megan's coming up soon, I believe, too. So,
It's so tough to make that a goal. I completely understand it and I support that goal, but it's hard because you don't know who else is showing up, right? So
mhm.
I completely understand the strategic angle of that. You are looking for certain races or maybe research. Oh, those 5-year age divisions are where it's at. Like the 5 years for me being the 45 to 49. Yeah, I'm golden whenever it comes in there. So I really like those races.
So, Adrian, I got to ask, how important is it that you maintain your segments over in the battlefield, your local legend status? Because I know that some of our listeners are very interested.
Mm.
Well, let's just face it, at this point in time, to run outside, where is the safest place to run in this weather? It's the battlefield. And technically, that's the only time we're really going to get over there is this time of year. Oh man, is it fun? It is so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially, you'll be getting those emails. It's like, "Ah, I got to go. Here I go again. I got to go back out there."
I had this idea a couple weeks back that I feel like Strava and the makers of Pokemon should get together and do some kind of like Pokemon Go, but with a Strava flair, because it's almost like you got to catch them all. You got to get Rico, you got to get Hills, you got to slide down and get the Battle Mile. You got to get whatever. I don't know. There's so many CNO to Woodshed. There's segments everywhere. And yeah, I don't know. I'm never going to be in the running for those segment fastest person,
I don't know.
but
King of the
running
mountain.
most times, I could do that. I could show up over a 90-day period. I'll get you.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because you reminded me that Adrian stole one of my Queen of the Mountains that I got, I think, during one of my kids' soccer practices. It wasn't at the battlefield. It was at Spring Mills High School.
Yeah.
And I haven't made my way back up there yet. I said I was going to go back and get it, but I have not done that yet.
Yeah, that's our local school around here, and that's where we take the kids to go bike riding because Declan just does not feel confident riding bikes. I'm like, all right, I know where we could go.
Oh, yeah, that's a great place.
Hey, Chris, before we wrap up, you might need to go back and take out Bruce's idea he just had there because in like 1 month, when I see like Strava Go and somebody's making $1 billion and
I
it's not
know.
Bruce, I'm
I
gonna be
know.
upset about that. So that I'm looking forward to when you produce that, Bruce. That's gonna be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, this episode has been a lot of fun, Adrian and Bruce. Before we let you guys go, we have one last segment for you called the after party. And basically, it came from our Sunday morning runs. We would finish on the towpath and then we would have just talked for an hour, hour and a half. And then we get back to the car and then we just shoot off the last minute questions that we didn't get done. So these are designed to be one or maybe 2 word answers. No explanation allowed slash needed. So whatever you guys come up with for your answer is your answer. I'll let Adrian answer first each time. Unless you think the answer will get you in trouble, then you can elbow Bruce and we'll let him talk first, okay? But they're all about running and racing and all that good stuff. So the first one is, would you rather run together or run alone? Like, is it your alone time?
Alone time.
Alone time.
All right. Do you prefer roads or trails?
Trails.
Roads.
Favorite race distance?
Always be half marathon ready.
I like that one. I like that one. Half marathon for me too.
All right. Would you rather run in the morning or run at night?
Morning.
Night for me. I like lunch runs, but night.
All right. Who signs up for a race first?
That's a funny story. Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay. Who talks more during a run?
Evidently me.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you prefer hills or headwind?
Hills.
I'll take the headwind.
You prefer, there's 2 more, guys. You prefer to run on a treadmill or run outside?
I've become an outsider.
I have too.
All right. And then the last one is when you're running together. You guys already talked about this a little bit, but who sets the pace?
Our heart rates.
Yeah, whatever the watch tells me. Speed up, slow down. I used to just turn and burn, and anymore I'm like, all right, I'll keep it in the zone. I'll do what it tells me. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. I know I had a lot of fun during this episode. Really appreciate your time away from the kids for the last hour or so. So thank you for allowing us to talk to you guys very much. We appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate the invite once again.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That's all for today's episode of Tales on the Towpath. Thanks for joining us on another run down memory lane and along the C&O. If you've enjoyed the show, be sure to follow, share it with a friend, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep your pace steady and your stories flowing.